Jane Velez Mitchell for Unchained TV. We are here at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in the Washington, D.C. area. And I am here with Mark Perlmutter, who has an incredible new vegan investing club. So this is a very exciting conference. We've got a lot of people coming from all over the world. People came from Amsterdam, from China. I mean, unbelievable turnout here. Tell us about your vegan investing club.
Well, thanks, Jane. And the simple answer is together we're more powerful. And so vegan investing is one of the ways we can all come together to make change. The new equity crowdfunding laws make it possible for 100% of the public rather than just the 2% rich. So that's what we do. We focus on equity crowdfunding. We let our members know about vegan companies that are coming to the market and saying, hey, you can invest $100, you can invest $500, whatever you like. And we're going to build our company. And if we're successful, maybe someday you'll have a profit. So it's very high risk, early stage companies, but think about it. You're like investing in Beyond Meat or Impossible Burgers or Oatly 15 years ago. That's the exciting thing. You're building your own vegan retirement portfolio, for instance. That would be great. You have 10 or 15 little small investments in vegan companies. So that's what we do. Members join our club for free, Jane. There's no commitment. There's no obligation. They just give us their name, their email, and then we send them a notice when a new exciting company that I invest in, and I tell them I invested, here's why, here's a link. If you like what you read, go check it out for yourself, make your own decision.
I love it. Let's take a little look at this incredible summit. So many exciting things happening. This is a conversation between the famous Miyoko Shinner of Miyoko's Creamery. Talk about a successful company. It's like $1 billion company or more right now. And Jennifer Stojkovic, who's written the book, The Future of Food is Female.
We need to teach them. We need to get groups of homemakers and people that cook at home to come learn and swap ideas and recipes. And that is one of the pieces I think that is missing in this space. Whether you're a plant-based product, your precision fermentation, or what will soon be cultivated, you need to teach people how to use these products and build a culture around them. And I think that we've been so product focused. And so,
I did write a book about that called The Vegan Meat Cookbook.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, all of these brands, because I mean, they don't all perform exactly identically.
Yes. So
it's like, how do you make it taste good? How do you, I don't know, like for example, there are some not so savory vegan chicken that I bought, plant-based chicken that I bought before.
No names.
I'm not saying it, but if you confit it, in other words, you cook it in a bath of butter, oh my God, that's a whole other story there, and that will give you salary.
So, two of my heroes, Jenny Stojkovic, who does the Women's Vegan Summit, which is coming up in Brooklyn next year, as well as Miyoko Shinner. But I was talking to you. This is a big party. Let me just say that. Everybody's talking to each other, learning so much. And we want to bring people who aren't here virtually so they can experience the summit. And we were just having dinner, happened to be nearby. I was like, Mark, I haven't seen you in so long. And he was saying, that we can support vegan companies that are nascent, just getting started vegan companies. So how does it help, and what is the minimum donation?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's not a donation, it's an investment. I know we all think of crowdfunding and we think of supporting vegan groups with donations, but the other kind of crowdfunding is where you're making an investment in a company, and if they are successful, you might get a return. So the minimum is usually $100. It's set by the company. The company posts their offering on a crowdfunding portal, which is totally safe because it's SEC regulated. So it's not just any website, it's licensed portals, licensed by the SEC. And then they tell their story, and if you go there and you like it, you can make an investment. They tell you how much the minimum is. They tell you how much they've raised. They also have a little video about the company. They have their financials. They have their filings with the SEC. They're reviewable. Mm-hmm. Mainly, the thing you're looking for is who are the people, what are they doing, do they have a track record? And I'll give you an example. Miyoko, who is becoming a good friend, I've known her for years, mm-hmm. She's it's funny you bring her up because she's a big supporter of crowdfunding and she wants to use it for her next company, whenever that is and if there is one. Yeah. So she's become an advisor to the Vegan Investing Club.
And if you have a small vegan company, you can contact Mark. There were a lot of people here and more are coming because it's the weekend. I want you to just check out the dinner scene here. you're saying, how are you positioning yourself? Tell us about that, and tell us the name of the website where people can go if they want to get involved.
Okay, thank you. So the way it works is this. Equity crowdfunding allows a company to post on a portal. So you have to know to go to that portal. Now, if you're a customer, they'll send you a notice. And they might run some ads. You might see an ad. But our Vegan Investing Club, you join us and we look out full time. We're looking out for vegan companies.
Yes.
And I do a little assessment. And if I like them and I invest in them, then I tell the members. So I'm not going to tell them about everything I find. There are some companies I rule out because their valuation's too high, or I don't think they'll ever become a successful exit for our members.
Right.
But I do support them sometimes just because I like what they're doing.
What is the website?
VeganInvestingClub.org.
Okay, I'm writing it down here.
Yeah.
VeganInvestingClub.org. And what is the minimum investment?
Yeah. Well, all you do is join for free. There's no cost at all to join the club. And then we'll educate you a little bit about the equity crowdfunding, how it works, what your role will be. And then we start sending you once a month companies that I find on one of the 5 or 10 busy platforms. And then if you like, you can go look at that company. And if you choose to make an investment, you'll go on that platform. And their minimum is usually $100. Sometimes it's higher, set by the company basis.
Somebody said veganinvestinglove.org, but actually, good one, Kim. But the actual name is Vegan Investing Club.
Sorry,
so you can get involved in that club. And I'm full disclosure, I'm not a member, but I'm going to be joining because I think that there's some themes that are developing here at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in the Washington, D.C. area. There's almost 1,000 people who have come from all over the world. We're talking to people from Amsterdam, from China. You're from Peru, and you live in Peru currently. And everybody's trying to figure out, how do we save our planet? How do we save the animals? How do we save people? Because the clock is ticking, people. We don't have that much longer. Okay, so we've got to figure it out. And some of the themes that are emerging are, first of all, women's empowerment. So yesterday, it was revealed that women make some crazy, like 92% of the decisions about what is purchased for the home. So women should be the leader in this. Also, that this is a global movement. So inclusivity of all people. So it's not just some, Eurocentric or US-centric movement. And then the other theme is investing in alternative proteins. This has come out as perhaps the most crucial theme in terms of, as somebody said, Claire Smith of VEGN, which is a vegan ETF, which has actually done very well during this downturn in the market. What she said is, we simply have to make cruelty-free products more profitable than cruelty products. If we can make products if people can make more money being cruelty-free than they can being cruel, then that's the solution.
It's a tipping point.
Yeah, it's a tipping point. And so we have to marry that with technology. Technology is going to bring in, because there's so many people who you can talk to them for years. They're not going to go vegan. They want their meat. Well, now
that was so exciting. You brought up the innovation that's happening. You discovered some, what do you call it?
Bioidentical meat.
That's an amazing concept.
Yeah, we have an article on it on UnshakedTV.com. Bioidentical meat from a company called Paleo in Belgium.
Yeah.
They don't even use an animal biopsy. What they do is they copy the DNA sequence of a particular animal cell, like a pig or a cow or a chicken, and then they create those bioidentical using a yeast protein. And what the scientist who is the head of this company said, it looks like meat, it tastes like meat, it has the texture of meat, it smells like meat, but it has no animal products, because we're all a combination of DNA. And if they can copy it. So I think those are some of the biggest breakthroughs that are coming down the pike here. So we're very excited. Exactly, we must counter the "we make protein" mantra of companies like Smithfield Food. Exactly. This is what these meat companies are saying is, well, guess what? We're making protein for the world. Well, guess what? Protein doesn't have to come from animals.
Yeah, and then
Okay?
it's so much less costly to the environment. Even if you're not aware or care about the animal suffering, the environment is damaged by animal protein. So if we can make protein in a lab or a big vat in an efficient way using plant feedstock, the whole world benefits, including the animals.
Absolutely. So how many people do you have in your vegan investing club? By the way, it's free to join.
Yeah.
Okay.
So So you can go on the website and check it out. We have a ticker. We have just over 19,000, and we have another 2,000 in another platform that doesn't show up there. So just around 20,000 members have joined. We've actually announced 10 companies over the last 10 months, about one a month. And our members go and invest directly. We don't manage the investment. We don't touch the investment. We don't make a commission, but we get feedback from the CEOs of the companies. They tell us how the company received a little bit or a lot or fast or slow.
Right.
So we've gotten some feedback about what our members are investing in. It's working so well. We actually got a vegan foundation approached us and said, we'd like to lend you some money to grow your business. We think it's a great model for accelerating the vegan economy. And I said to them, me and my Wall Street background, I said, how about making an investment instead of lending me? And they said, okay. So we're going to do our own raising of funds.
I love it. We're talking to Mark Perlmutter of the Vegan Investing Club. Tell us the website again.
Thank you. Veganinvestingclub.org. And you can search Vegan Investing Club. We usually come up as the top 5 or 6.
So when somebody invests, you said $100 is the minimum?
Isn't that nice? So you could invest $100 in 10 or 15 companies over the next year or two, and you can build yourself a little vegan retirement portfolio. And we would expect that early stage companies fail. That's what happens. But what you're looking for is 1 or 2 of them to be a home run that covers the other 16 or 18 that didn't make it. And that's how professional venture capitals invest in early stage, and that's how we have to invest in early stage.
Now, what happens after the window closes? Like you're saying, there's a crowdfunding window. Hey, everybody, invest in XYZ company.
Yeah.
But you don't have the rest of the lifetime.
Yeah.
There's a small window where they're taking investments.
Yeah.
What is that called? And then what happens when that window closes?
Okay, so in a crowdfunding, you'll see on the page 6 months, 4 months, 2 months, maybe closing tomorrow. You'll see the countdown of how many days left in the offering when you go to the crowdfund portal for that company. Now, the law says a year maximum for each offering. So a company might be up for 6 months,
Okay.
and then they might extend. So sometimes they extend, but generally they're up for about 6 months.
Okay.
And we find out about them pretty quickly, and we notify our members right away.
Okay, then but what happens after it closes?
Okay.
By the way, I want to show you the booth we're at. And we have a pretty nice booth. There we go. Dr. Crystal Heath is our staffer for the Unchained TV booth. We're playing videos of Pig Little Eyes and other programming from Unchained TV. Please download our app. You can download it on your phone for free. Just go to your app store, Android or Apple. Just put in Unchained TV, one word. It pops right up. It's absolutely free. Or you can also download it on your television via your Roku device, your Apple TV device, or your Amazon Fire Stick device. Join our club. We're growing fast, and we are providing information in the hopes of becoming the vegan CNN. Essentially, why is it CNN here? Why isn't MSNBC? Why isn't ABC, CBS? Okay, we want to break out of just the vegan echo chamber and get to the general public, and that's why we started this. This is an important story. The future of our planet depends on transition immediately to plant-based. Los Angeles City Council just endorsed the plant-based treaty, the second largest city in the United States. This is big news. What we're doing here could literally mean the difference between extinction as a human species and survival, because animal agriculture is such a contributor to climate change, contributes so much of greenhouse gas emissions. And yet, is there any mainstream media here? No. That's why Unchained TV is here doing what we do.
Very important what you're doing.
Yeah, very important. So please support us, because we can't do it alone. So we need a community of people to share. She says, speak it, Jane. Yeah. And I say to you, download it. Download it, Deb.
So let me add something.
Yeah.
We learned last night together. We were
Yes.
talking with one of the representatives from China who came to this conference. He runs
Yes.
a vegan food movement there,
Right.
and education and so forth.
Right.
He told me a fact that I have to verify, but I'll share it.
Yes.
It's okay to share it. We don't
Of
know. It's not
course.
verified
Yes,
second
yes.
source yet. He said there's 50 million vegans in China. That blew my
50
mind. I didn't sleep last
million
night.
vegans
That's
in China.
exciting. That means big trends are happening in other parts of the world where we also see animal consumption growing up too.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful. And the other thing that was so powerful is 2 years ago, Forbes said there are 25% of millennials in the U.S. are vegetarian or vegan. Now, if that number's right, today it's even more. So there's the meat reduction movement, and let's go vegetarian for a couple of months, or try it for a
Yeah.
month, or meatless Mondays, whatever that movement is, wherever you are in that range, very powerful, because that cuts down on the amount of animal suffering, the amount of products going into the animal feed system. Therefore, it's not grown with as many chemicals because there's no regulation on what's fed to the animals. There's only regulation on what's fed to us.
Right. And one of the other really, really important things is the Farm Bill. I was just talking to somebody a second ago about the importance of changing the Farm Bill. It comes up in 2023. That could mean the difference between the survival of the human species and extinction. It sounds crazy, right?
Let's subsidize vegetables.
This woman
Yeah.
is like so out of her mind. What are you talking about? Well, let's face it. Animal agriculture is a leading cause of climate change. Some even argue it's the leading cause, but we're not going to go that far. We're just going to say a leading cause. And guess what is fueling the consumption of meat, which allows animal agriculture to continue? Subsidies by the U.S. government.
Taxpayer money.
Hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars in subsidies. The average fast food hamburger that's making people sick and obese and have all sorts of health problems, including, heart attacks, okay? That would probably be $8, $10, $25 a burger if it wasn't subsidized by our government. So one of the big things that we have to do, Mark, aside from investing in vegan companies, because everybody says, well, vegan food is more expensive. Well, vegan food isn't being subsidized by the U.S. government. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is saying they're doing everything they can to combat climate change, which they themselves are fueling by the subsidy of animal agriculture. Okay? This is what really frustrates me.
We all get frustrated.
Okay? So what can we do on top of supporting vegan businesses to wake up, members of Congress, for example?
There's a group that lobbies Congress based here in the
Well,
DC area.
there's quite a few.
The
Yes.
fellows here, Ari Nessel.
Ari Nessel, yes. We have a lot of groups. We've got the Agriculture Fairness Alliance. We've got Ari Nessel. We've got another group, that gentleman I just spoke to. He's extremely tall, so if it was here, I think I see him. Hold on a second. Okay, keep talking. I'm going to get him.
Well, I'll just second what Jane is saying. We're learning so much about what's going on in other parts of the world because we're here in the U.S., maybe we're the echo chamber, and maybe our friends and family. And so it's really exciting to hear the outside things happening. Very exciting.
All right, I found him. He's right over there.
You
He's
gonna
going to
join
join us. Yes. So what I'd ask you, first of all, final thoughts on the Vegan Investing Club.
Well, join the club, learn about how you can invest in companies you love and be part of the change, and maybe you'll make a profit.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Thank you, Mark. Great talking to you. Great reconnecting.
Thanks.
So there you go. We've got our next guest coming up. We only have a space for two. So come on down and sit and hop down. Here we go. And I hope you have a nice loud voice because it's very, very loud here.
Yeah, we can be loud.
Okay. This was a quiet yesterday because it's a weekday. Now people are coming in. I'm getting calls. I'm driving from New York. Everybody's driving. Uh-oh. What just happened? Hold on. Hold on. New day has gone. 23. We're still live. Thank God. I just hit a button and everything went crazy. Okay, tell me who you are, Max Broad.
Yes.
Okay.
Here at the Animal and Vegan Advocacy
Yeah,
Summit.
scooch up a little bit.
Yeah, let's do
okay.
it.
Okay, there you go. And you're with DC Voters for Animals. So we were just talking with Mark Perlmutter about vegan investing, and I said, I just met this man, and it was you, who is really trying to wake up members of Congress and mobilize. We've got some vegan members of Congress. Correct me if I'm wrong. Adam Schiff, I've been told, is vegan, prominent, obviously, politician. Jamie Raskin, obviously Cory Booker, the U.S. Senator. We've got another one, Raj, and I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but Raja. We'll pull it up. And he's from Illinois, and he is pretty much vegan, is what he told me. And, so we need to gather members of Congress together who get it.
Oh, yeah, Raja Krishnamurthy from Illinois.
Raja Krishnamurthy, he has called me several times.
Yes.
And I've talked to him on the phone. Now, what are you doing with the clock ticking toward the Farm Bill being renewed in 2023? Thank you.
Yeah, well, here in DC Voters for Animals, we're working on politics on a local level, really trying to get our politicians to think more, care more about animal issues. And Jane, can I share something with you about our fur bill that we're working on in DC? In DC, we're trying to pass a bill to ban the sale of fur. Right? We all know how horrible fur animals are treated. They're in factory farms. But what happened when the bill was introduced, people from all over the country, fur trappers, wrote to express opposition to the bill all over the country. They mobilized strong. So our animal advocates going to do the same. The people like us who really care going to step up to talk to our politicians and show that we care.
Yeah, but what can we do about the Farm Bill?
Yeah, Farm Bill is going to be huge, right? As you say, what was the quote you said? if we don't change the Farm Bill.
The Farm Bill is going to determine whether the human species survives or not, because the clock's ticking, and it's not just me saying it. Sir David Attenborough has an incredible documentary called Breaking Boundaries. I believe it's on Netflix. I saw it. There's only about 9 boundaries that once you break, there's no turning back. The collapse of the glaciers, ocean dead zones, certain things, when they hit, you can't undo them.
Tipping points.
The tipping points.
Yeah.
We're barreling toward those. We're going to march right through them in a few years if we don't change our policies. Meanwhile, and this is a bipartisan problem, and Tom says, thanks for addressing the fur industry. Yes.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes. So we have to deal with that because, again, ironically, while both administrations, this is a bipartisan problem, and we don't get into politics in that sense. We're not into partisan politics. What we are into is waking up our U.S. government that while you say you're doing everything to stop the climate crisis, the government is fueling the climate crisis by subsidizing animal agriculture. What can we do to change the Farm Bill, Max?
Yeah, well, just to build upon your point there, we all know that the Inflation Reduction Act passed this year, one of the biggest packages for climate change that the biggest we've ever seen. They had specific provisions for addressing agriculture, making agriculture more sustainable. It had nothing to do with farm animals. We know that that's where the biggest source of emissions comes from, and that's why we have to put some attention on the Farm Bill, really getting things to be much more planned forward. And this is where advocates really need to speak up and show that they care. We need to talk to our members of Congress.
But listen, talking to members of Congress, what we really need are amendments to the Farm Bill. Are there any amendments that will allow for more money to be directed to fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, and legumes that humans eat as opposed to the commodity crops that animals eat?
Yes. Yeah.
Are there?
I'm with you, and I'll tell you, as a member of Congress, if I'm a member of Congress, I'm scared to make big changes, right? Because I know that big changes can really upset people. So if I'm going to make big changes, I need to know that my voters, the people in my district, support me. And so that's where people need to show that, hey, we have your back in making these changes. Speaking up matters.
I got it, but if you're backing something that doesn't exist, you got to have the proposed amendment.
Yes.
Who's proposing amendments to the Farm Bill?
That's where we need some champions in the Agriculture Committee.
Well, what I was told is it's not, you can't do it right when the Farm Bill comes up for a vote.
Right.
This is the time now.
Yeah.
So who is doing this? I mean, I would think this would be priority number one.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And, I can speak, I work on the local level,
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it's so important. And I hope that our movement is focusing on it. And I want to be focused on it too.
I want to be focused on it. But yes, we do have the Agriculture Fairness Alliance that is very involved. And yes, everybody share this out, please.
Yeah.
If I told you the problems that we had going live, not to do with any of this, but the truth is that one of the reasons I started with our nonprofit, Unchained TV, the streaming network, is that social media has become far more corporate and is really not allowing this kind of stuff to get out the way it did.
Yes.
Okay, so the algorithms are skewed. So we need you to share out. Every single person watching this, if you share out to as many groups as you can, that increases our ability to get the word out about all this. So once again, I want to show you our booth. This is where we're at with Dr. Crystal Heath at the summit. And, we're right near Washington, D.C., where the Supreme Court right now is considering whether or not to allow Prop 12 to become law and actually be implemented, which is the California proposition that says pigs from gestation crates, pigs from crates that are so small they can't even turn around in the horrific cruelty system of animal agriculture. And these are shots from a large factory farm that California voters, 63% said you cannot sell those products in California. The pork industry is challenging that. They had oral arguments recently before the U.S. Supreme Court. Here is the court building that they entered, just a little ways from where we are right now. We're in technically Virginia, but we are really in the Washington, D.C. area. And the court's going to rule on that. Now, if the court says we uphold Prop 12, that means that basically the fifth largest economy in the world, that's California, the fifth largest economy in the world, will no longer allow the sale of those extraordinarily cruel products in California. That's going to change. That's a game changer. But the voters enacted it, and the pork industry has fought it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the most shameful thing is that our administration is the U.S. government, the current administration is siding with the pork industry. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's terrible. And it just goes to show that right now, the big meat has a much bigger presence amongst, as you say, it's a bipartisan issue, right? Like big meat is influencing the Democratic administration. We need to step up to speak up against big meat. We need to push back.
We do. And we need to end these subsidies of meat and dairy. But how is that going to happen when the head of the United States Department of Agriculture is a dairy industry trade group leader?
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Huge issue.
So if you've got, I don't like to use a species as example of the fox guarding the hen house. And that's on my to-do list to do a documentary that comes up with alternatives for all of those. But when you have the industry that is supposed to be regulated running the agency, which is happening in all across the board in government agencies, that's moral bankruptcy.
Right, absolutely.
So, what are we going to do? What we're going to do is make the meat alternatives, the alternative proteins, cheaper than even the most heavily subsidized meat. And the way we do that is precision fermentation, alternative proteins. And what we heard last night, which I'm going to go back to Unchained TV World Headquarters in Los Angeles, and I'm going to do a documentary about what happened here. And one of the big stories is alternative proteins. Now, they talked about it for pet food. If American pets were its own country, they'd be, again, like the fifth biggest meat-eating country in the world.
Geez.
So, alternative proteins for pets. Then breast milk. Breast milk, even though the global majority and the National Institutes of Health itself says most people are lactose intolerant. At least 65% of the population has lactose intolerance, according to the NIH. It's actually, according to a lot of people, far higher than that. That personally, I believe everybody is lactose intolerant. We're not cows. We're not designed to drink cow's milk. But the point is that they're going to come up with a human breast milk that is precision fermentation using human molecules, so that when somebody cannot give their child their own breast milk from their breast, instead of taking cow's milk, which is not good for babies, they can give that child actual human breast milk. I mean, that is extraordinary. We were hearing about that last night. I mean, the innovation here is incredible, isn't it?
Well, we're talking about not just wins for the animals, wins for the environment, wins for us. It's just such a powerful combination.
Yeah, and I want to just show you once again, if you just joined us, we're at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in the Washington, D.C. area at the Hilton Mark Center in Alexandria, Virginia. And there are about 1,000 animal activists and vegan activists from around the world gathered here. And we're brainstorming, we're having meetings. There's this high-tech app where you can schedule meetings. And then there's a lot of just parties. I want to show you one of them. Just one of many, many, many parties. And one of the things I want to say, Max, before you leave, and we're getting another guest, our staffer, Crystal Heath, Dr. Crystal Heath, who's a renowned veterinarian. It's fun. What's happening here is a lot of fun to change minds and to change ideas. Thank you so much, sir. Good luck with your programs. And let's talk more about adding videos to our streaming network. Thank you so much. All right, we've got a new guest in the house. Come on down, sit down. Whoa! So excited, and I want to make sure I tell your group, Vianetta Calloway with the Black Vegan Experience. Thank you for leaning in. We're lean your body right in. Okay, yeah, because it's so noisy here. You can look right over there. Tell us all about your organization.
So, guys, my name is Vianetta Calloway, the Black Vegan Experience, and this amazing lady right here connected me, and I just think she's out here doing great work. And
thank you for speaking up. It's very crowded today because there's a lot of people. So just pretend I'm hard of hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just shout. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So basically, the Black Vegan Experience is an event that was born to reach Black and Brown communities. It began with the conversation over the lack of diversity when it came to plant-based conferences in the communities by the hospital systems. Of course, that's discouraging to hear that they're not trying to connect us and make sure that we're getting better and well. So it's like we did our own. And of course, when you are connecting other vegan professionals, you're making a deeper impact in those communities. So that is basically what we're doing, spreading vegan awareness, getting people, reaching them where they are. So we have to connect with them through what we're meeting them where they are, is with the food. So like if you can connect people to the food and you get them thinking differently, they see that you care, then you begin to share the other causes, the animal advocacy, talking about our planet, how we can take better care of it. And, I believe from my whole heart, I've always been a good steward, but we always can do better and make sure we're speaking for the voiceless.
Now, I want to say, when the movement came up, the Black Lives Matter movement, it was an opportunity for everybody to do some introspection.
Absolutely.
Our organization did introspection. We had conversations, and we realized that we could be more diverse. And we made changes, and we are a better organization for it. That's the key point. We were cheating ourselves. Not to say that we weren't diverse, but we really didn't. We really took that opportunity to do some soul searching and see what we could do.
Right. To become more intentional.
To become more intentional. Thank you. And the first step, of course, is to admit, things can be better. Do you see, since that national movement, do you see the vegan community, the animal rights community becoming more inclusive since then?
I believe that they are taking baby steps. I'm seeing more than I had in the past. I'm hearing more about it. Before, I didn't think it was a concern, and I have actually struggled with having speakers come, from, I don't want to name call, but from organizations that focus in animal advocacy, because again, like, I want it to be objective. I don't want anyone to ever think I'm being manipulative, and so I need to have those faces. I need to have those connections to the organization so we can get involved in the fight. And so again, I do again agree that there's more to be done. And all we have to do is walk across the street, shake a hand, share what the causes are, connect to the groups Black vegan groups that are here, that are out there. All you have to do is Google a couple people and they'll show up. And it's like, hey, I'm here. What can I do? Like, where's the next protest? Where is the next meetup? And then people will get connected, because a lot of times we just don't know.
Well, I have to say that I personally think a lot of progress has been made. African Americans are the fastest growing demographic of vegans. Okay? Tabitha Brown, an African American star, has the first vegan cooking show on the Food Network. Tracy McCurder, with her, I believe it's 10 Million Black Vegan Women organization, is doing incredible work. I could go on and on and on. Naja Wright Brown, who I'm very proud to say, started with a show here on Unchained TV, which she still has, was the kickoff. She kicked off this entire conference, and she is with the Black Veg Society. So from my perspective, I see a lot of change, and also for other minority groups, the Latino contingent, and being Puerto Rican and Irish myself, I'll include myself in that, we are also much more represented than I would have seen 5-6 years ago. There are so many people from Latin America here who have traveled here. We also are in conversation with having Spanish-speaking videos in Spanish on Unchained TV. We want to have videos, obviously in English, we have more than 800 videos at this point, but we want to have videos in Spanish. I had a meeting yesterday with somebody about having videos in Chinese. I mean, when we heard yesterday that there are 50 million vegans in China.
Wow.
I was like blown away by that. Now, I can't confirm that independently, obviously, but if that is true, wow, isn't that fantastic?
It is fantastic. And I like to share, so Tabitha Brown originally was slated to be our MC before the world shut down.
Yeah.
And she was definitely pivotal in me transitioning from vegetarianism to veganism, just a natural approach. And then Tracy McCurder Green, they were able to help with a lot of the resources that we shared at our events. So they have definitely been out there making a difference and supporting. And I love that. We got to get the men involved, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes. You're okay. You're making a point. You're making a point there. Every single African American leader that we've mentioned so far is a female. So that's interesting. Yes. Well, I'm sure that will change, and we can change that. Marlon Risen is somebody who did some videos for us out of Texas, and he's great. He's connected to Chef Babette, who is another one. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Chef Babette, a personal friend. We've just done a story on her on Unchained TV, the streaming network.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she was honored at the Mercy for Animals Gala. And so you can go, by the way, you can download Unchained TV right off your phone, go to your app store. There it is right there. More than 800 videos, including this one. We are streaming live on Unchained TV, the vegan CNN right now. So check it out. And you can see that the Peeled cooking series, she's one of the judges of that. So we also had her right here. You can see her. There's Chef Babette right in the middle. We interviewed her at the Mercy for Animals Gala as well as at the Peeled Gala. So we are doing whatever we can to highlight powerful women of color who are, let's put it this way, upending the food colonialism. Because when you think about it, and I just recently learned this, I'd heard it, but I never really heard it as fact. And ironically, I heard it listening to a history book on Audible while I was walking my dogs, because I listen to Audible. And it said, the teacher said, pigs and cows are not indigenous to the Americas. The first cow came over on Columbus's second voyage. The first pig came over from Europe. with a Spanish conquistador in 1539, approximately. So when we defend our right to eat meat, we are really not defending our heritage. These animals are not indigenous to the Americas. What is your thought on that?
Well, I did a talk that basically said black people didn't know they were green because we came from plant-based ancestry. We already knew, or we're learning, that a lot of animals were not indigenous to this country, and we should not be partaking in that. And the more that we speak up and we share about why you should abstain, why they have a voice that we don't get to speak for them, we need to do that. Like, it's still a system of oppression. It's a system of pain. It causes suffering, and it needs to end. It's hurting us too.
Wow, that is incredible. So I just want to say, this is a fascinating conference.
It is.
It's fun, right? We're meeting people. We're having a great time just talking to people. And, what we want to do is just get other people who are around. So what I've done is I'm playing a little game. I'm asking you, as the last spokesperson, to just ask somebody else to come up and sit down.
Absolutely.
Because I can only do so much.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining us. I wish you the very best.
Absolutely.
Keep us posted, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much.
She works tirelessly.
And we are here live at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit. How are you? What's your organization? Sage, come on down. Come on down. Yes, Sage. We got Sage here live at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit. I want to ask you to scooch in and then speak up loud like you're on stage, because it's very loud here. It was quiet, but now it's the weekend. Everybody's driving in from New York City. We're in the DC area. So thank you for speaking up. Tell us what your organization is, why you're here.
Well, it's a wonderful honor to meet you, Jane. I'm a huge fan of everything you do and everything you do for the LGBTQ community.
Thank you.
But yeah, I work at Richmond Law and Policy, and we're a New York City-based consumer protection litigation firm. And we do something super niche in the law. We just focus on suing animal agriculture companies that are lying about humaneness, sustainability in their products. And so even though we can't advocate for animals directly in the law, we can sue these companies who are lying. That is absolutely illegal. And I have the best time. Right now we've got a lawsuit going against Tyson. We also have a suit against Red Lobster, which is near and dear to my heart. And these companies on their menus.
And let me just say, for legal reasons, we invite all those companies just mentioned on anytime on Unchained TV. In fact, and this is serious, we would love to dialogue with them. Nothing would make me happier than dialoguing with some of these companies. But names aside, tell us, I think this is really important because we all know, for example, the slaughterhouse near downtown LA, where millions of pigs are killed, brutally killed. There's no nice way to kill a being who does not want to die, and it's now shutting down. But for years, and it had a giant mural of frolicking happy pigs rolling in the grass, and this is where pigs go to arrive terrified, sometimes frothing at the mouth, hungry, tired, scared, baby pigs approximately 6 months of age. So you look at that mural and you think, oh, it's Orwellian. Okay, so what do we do about this characterization of happy animals who are being tortured to death?
It's horrendous. It's absolute bull. I won't swear on live with you, but yeah, I mean, with that kind of thing, it may be trickier to target because usually there has to be a consumer product. That's our specialty. But on product packaging, when they have that type of imagery, you can also go after that. Recently, PETA brought a class action suit against Organic Valley Milk, and on their packaging, they show mama and baby cows next to each other looking happy, and we all know the reality is that they don't get to spend very much time with each other at all. If I were you, I would just throw paint over that mural, but short of that, there can definitely point out the false advertising to your local community for sure.
So how are you doing with these lawsuits? Because, and again, we invite any company mentioned, and we don't need to really do a litany of companies. I can't independently verify each and every detail, but just to get the overall idea, how are you doing with these lawsuits? Because so often it seems like the courts and the prosecutors and everybody involved in the criminal justice system as well as the civil system seem aligned with industry, not with even refusing to enforce cruelty laws.
Right, that's true. And that's why we've taken this unique approach, because false advertising is another tool. It's a unique way to get at the same types of issues, and we can get around those things like the biased prosecutors who don't want to bring animal cruelty suits, and we can cover a variety of issues as well, because these companies are also horrible for the environment, they treat their workers poorly, and they make all kinds of claims about that stuff as well, because they want everyone to think that they're doing the best thing for everyone, and of course that's just not the truth.
We are here live at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in the DC area, and we are talking with Everybody Has a Badge. So here we go. Sage Max, what a great name. Richmond Law and Policy. I love this. So often I'm like, somebody's got to do something when I see some of this packaging. Drives me absolutely crazy. Now, what kind of media coverage are you getting? Because I started Unchained TV, the global streaming network, with more than 800 videos that you can download right from your phone. Like, see, there's CNN, and then you go right over here, same red, not that I was copying them. And here is our app, and it's loading right now. 2 seconds, because we're in a dungeon, essentially at the bottom of a hotel. But it has more than 800 videos, and guess what? You can look at exactly what we're talking now. It's live on the app, and then there are hundreds of other videos, hundreds. So I urge you, just download it on your phone. You can also download it on your TV via your Roku device, your Amazon Fire Stick, your Apple TV device. Just put Unchained TV into any of those devices, the search bar, it pops up. We hope to become sort of the vegan CNN. That's what I call it, because I was a journalist for 40 years. And while I have to say, I'm always grateful to CNN. When I worked at HLN, CNN Headline News, I did a weekly animal segment, and I covered a lot of hardcore animal rights, and they did not stop me. So I always say, thank you, CNN. I was there for 6 years. That wrapped up, and I said, well, I'm going to do this full time. So it's grown now into a global streaming network, because the mainstream media does not cover this either at all, or it's skewed when in the rare occasions. There are exceptions. I'm not saying it's always, but I would say 99% of the coverage either ignores the issue or skews it. So do you get, because often the media respects the law, they respect the lawsuit. Why? Because you can repeat anything that's in a lawsuit, and you can't get sued for it. It's in a lawsuit. You're quoting it. So what response have you gotten from the mainstream media?
Yeah, we've been covered on Fox recently. That was huge. Our lawsuit was taken really seriously, which was an exciting thing.
Yeah.
And they definitely do take the class action lawsuits more seriously than anything else, because they know that it impacts people across the country, and people want to know about these things that affect them directly, especially because consumers do care when they're lied to, and they're paying more for certain products that they believe are more humane, better for their health, for the environment, and they care about animals, and this is just one way that they can show that.
So is the industry taking note of your, I mean, I would think there's nothing worse than a lawsuit, nobody enjoys getting sued. Maybe one person, but we won't talk about that. What's the reaction to industry to the fact that you're calling them on the carpet for false advertising?
Oh, they're definitely scared. There's a law publication, Law 360, and just a few months ago, one of the companies that we sued, their representation was warning other companies to start looking at what they're putting out there. If they're calling their products humane, they want to make sure that they can back that up. So it's definitely having an impact before we even have to sue a particular company. They're looking at what they're doing, and they're making changes.
What about advertising, promoting a product as healthy when it's not? Now, we know that historically advertisers try to associate dairy with femininity and meat with masculinity. And we know the famous commercials where you have, for example, a woman, in a string bikini with a hamburger dripping, sauce down her bosom and her cleavage. So what about that?
That's a great question. I don't really know how to answer that honestly, but we will keep brainstorming and looking into that kind of stuff. I am always looking for new case ideas, and imagery is powerful, and it's certainly harder to combat than words, unfortunately.
Okay, Tom says you need to put her on the team, Jane. Yes, absolutely. Do you have any videos?
We do not. We have videos of some of our talks, but I really appreciate everyone asking about that, and I would love to spread the word. Thank you.
If you have videos of your talks, we'd like to stream them on Unchained TV.
Great.
We'd like to make that happen.
I will send some your way.
Okay, I agree, and I would like to give you one of our cards, and I would like to get one of your cards because I'm meeting a lot of people here, and my head's spinning, and then at night I'm like, okay, who did I meet? Okay, so blah, blah, blah. So I want to get your card, even if you leave it here, because I want to follow up on that, because people need to hear about this. They need to hear that they are basically being scammed, being told that that the animals are happy, that it's good for your health. And meanwhile, this industry is, creating a lot of wreckage. And that, what about lawsuits involving industrial pollution?
Yeah, that is absolutely really powerful. Again, one of the few things that we can get judges to care about sometimes are environmentalism. And in all our lawsuits, when a company claims to be sustainable, we certainly go after them for that too. And a lot of this stuff is already public. You can look things up in the EPA's database and find out which facilities have violated Clean Water, Clean Air Act.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. If you're not going to get involved in journalism, get involved in the law, because we need more lawyers. Our movement desperately needs more lawyers. And every day I run into people who I go, oh my God, this is a lawsuit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Such a pleasure meeting you. And we'll be in touch. So here you go. If you've just joined us, this is a very, very fun event. I want to just show you one of the key speeches that occurred last night. Jenny Stojkovic of the Vegan Women's Summit and Miyoko Shinner of the famous Miyoko Shinner brand talking. Check this out.
We need to teach them. We need to get groups of homemakers and people that cook at home to come learn and swap ideas and recipes. And that is one of the pieces I think that is missing in this space. Whether you're a plant-based product, or precision fermentation, or what will soon be cultivated, you need to teach people how to use these products and build a culture around them. And I think that we've been so product focused and so
I did write a book about that called the Vegan Meat Cookbook.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, all of these brands, because they don't all perform exactly identically.
Yes. So
it's like, how do you make it taste good? How do you, I don't know, like for example, there are some not so savory vegan chicken that I bought, plant-based chicken that I bought before.
No names.
I'm not saying it, but if you confit it, in other words, you cook it in a bath of butter, oh my God, that's a whole other story there, and that will get you salivating.
All right, now we've got a gentleman from Mercy for Animals. Tell us who you are. Mercy for Animals, I just attended their gala, and on Unchained TV, we have great interviews with Leah Garces, the president, Milo Runkel, the founder, as well as James Cromwell, who was given an award, as well as the Korean vegan, Joanne Lee Molinaro, who was given an award, and Chef Babette Davis, who was given an award. We have already 6 videos. It was such an incredible event at the Skirball Center in Los Angeles. So Mercy for Animals, we love you. Tell us what your focus is here at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. Gala was amazing, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, we're here to, just kind of, meet up with these wonderful supporters. It's been so long since we've been able to kind of get together in person. So I think that's kind of the most wonderful thing that I've experienced, is just getting to connect with these amazing activists. I think it's a more international event than ever before. Mercy for Animals, we've really grown over the last few years and are really, much more global. We're now in 6 areas of the world. We're expanding into Singapore, which is really exciting. So yeah, just connecting with these wonderful activists and groups here has been absolutely amazing.
What I love that Mercy for Animals is doing is the farm transformation. I mean, farmers are also being factory farmed. They are treated very often as indentured servants, put in tremendous debt, and they're risking their health because these factory farms are so unhealthy. Often they have to wear masks just to go into these areas where there are hundreds of thousands of animals. what are you doing to transform these animals?
Yeah, it's such a good point. Like, these operations, like the big corporations are really the only ones that are really benefiting. Everybody else is, kind of getting the short end of the stick. The animals, of course, but yeah, the workers, the small farmers that again take on these huge, contracts from Tyson's and Purdue's, and then all of a sudden they end up, just being stuck. Like you said, there's no way out other than to continue doing this, this terrible practice. So so the transformation program, it kind of gives these farmers that don't want to be doing these awful things a path out of it into more sustainable farming, like mushroom and hemp. Right now we have about 8 farmers that we're working with, which is phenomenal.
Wow.
And we really want to, this is still in the very early stages, and we really want to, scale it up. We want to transform the food system and bring along as many people as possible in the process.
And one of the things I've heard from various people involved in this field is that there are a lot of other ranchers and farmers looking at the first group. They want out too, but they're afraid to say so because they fear that there may be retaliation. They could get blackballed because they still got to make a living. So they're like, how do you do it? Once you set that model up, do you think you could really start mainstreaming it?
Yeah, for sure. I think once we have the programs in place, and we're learning a lot as we're going through, coming up with procedures and ways to do this, making connections with the people that would buy the hemp or the mushrooms. So I think once people see that there is a successful model for doing this, we're going to see a lot of people doing this more, because we certainly have a lot more people. Like for us right now, it's a bandwidth issue. I think we'd be working with a lot more farmers if we had additional staffers and resources. So once people see that this is actually something that works, which we're of course very confident that it's already working, but once we can kind of scale it up, get more funding for I think in the long run we'd love it to be like a federally funded program to just really get a lot more money into this space to help as many farmers as possible transition away from these just awful places that, like you said before, that they hurt everybody except the big corporations at the top.
Yes.
So, we're very excited about this.
Well, I hope, last question, because we've been talking a lot about the Farm Bill, which comes up for renewal in 2023. And really, without the subsidies by the U.S. government, we could literally transition to a plant-based culture much more rapidly. What's happening with that Farm Bill? Are there any amendments being proposed or any efforts to try to get more subsidies for fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, and legumes that humans eat, as opposed to these commodity crops that are just fed to farmed animals?
Yeah, it's a good point. And it's such a uneven playing field, right? If all these subsidies weren't there, we'd certainly be eating a lot more
vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. We have a wonderful government affairs and public policy team at Mercy for Animals. We should get some of them on here to talk about this, because it's certainly something, especially with the Prop 12 decision and kind of looming. Not sure what that's going to look like. Focusing on the Farm Bill is definitely an area where we can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And Mercy for Animals is such a big organization, and you have so many different things happening at once that it's really mind-boggling how it's all happening. It's an amazing organization. I want to thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you, Jane.
I just grabbed you, from the room. So thank you for being a good sport, and we appreciate it. So we've been on for 1 hour exactly. We're going to wrap it up here from the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit. It's very exciting. Unchained TV is so excited to be live. And I'm going to just leave you with a little video showing how fun it is. And being compassionate is fun. It is a great way to just get a whole new set of glasses and enjoy your life on a compassionate level. here virtually. You enjoyed this virtually. We've got, wow, so much happening today. It's been really, really, hey, there's Curtis Vollmer of Direct Action Everywhere, who's an amazing activist. DXC has their table right over here. It's super, super fun. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us and see you on Unchained TV. Make sure to download the app right on your phone or on your TV set using Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV device, or the Roku device. Unchained TV, bringing you vegan news, music videos, cooking shows, talk shows, incredible lectures, even reality shows like Pig Little Lies, our original reality show, the world's first reality show starring a family of pigs. So thank you so much. See you next time. Download Unchained TV.